Just wanted to let you know I've got the bottom row of my braces in and rubber bands in, so if my speech sounds really weird, please excuse that. I literally just got these on yesterday. My mouth is in pain and I'm still adjusting to them. So again, please excuse any speech that sounds weird from me in this video. This should be a short tutorial unless I somehow make it long. Part 9 to the tutorial series. We are really getting towards the end. This one is going to be about making continue screens for your EXE game. If you don't know what a continue screen is, it's from the original Sonic games but found its way in EXE games. In the original Sonic games, if I remember correctly, it was for if you ran out of lives but you had a extra stock or whatever that one thing, or it's actually called a continue. It's when you get a certain amount of score and the little Sonic dude is tapping his legs right by the numbers. When you get that, if you run out of lives, the continue screen pops up and it counts down, and you can either press enter to continue or you can let the timer run out and it just does a game over. This found its way to EXE games like Spirits of Hell, Nightmare Beginning, really a lot of more story mode EXE games. EXE games that don't really have a lot of scripted deaths, like there's ways to actually die without it being planned. Deaths like that have continues usually. I've seen it pop up a lot more. I haven't seen it too much, but it has found its way to EXE games, so I'm going to be showing how to create that real quick. Like the I Am God screen tutorial, this one is going to be slightly weird with the fact that a continue screen can kind of be anything and it can spread out to all these different effects. So I'm going to show a really basic one with some sprites I have for rotting for the continue screen in there. And that's all I have to say. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so as always, I'm just going to start off with showing what we're going to make, and something I just want to say, this that you're about to see is not what the continue screen looks like in rotting. This is more of a lazy version of it, so just wanted to put that out there before people think that this is exactly what it will look like. So no, it's not. So I'm going to run it and I'm going to press enter like about halfway through and you'll get to see what happens. So it's sitting there, he's kind of waiting. There's a timer counting down, but if I press enter, it stops. He's angry. Never mind, the timer ran out. Okay, that's my bad. I forgot to stop the timer. If you press enter, don't worry, we'll fix that. But now I'll show you. If I let the timer run out all the way, you'll kind of notice that you already saw the laugh animation, but it's kind of reverse on this. Usually it's like they're mad if you don't continue and they're happy if you do, but because Sonic is the enemy in my game Rotting, I reversed it, so he's happy if you don't continue and he's mad if you choose to continue. So that's just what I have here. So obviously yours might be different. So you can see here it ends. We can no longer press enter, and this will just kind of go back to this. It kind of depends really on how your game is structured, if it's gonna go back to like a main menu or go back to like the beginning of a game or beginning of a level. It all just really depends on how your game is built. Alright, so let's just get straight into this. So best thing to do would probably be just to create a blank new frame. I'll just name it continue, and on here most of the time actually really all of the time the continue screens are black in the background unless you have custom sprites to put in the background. So just set this background here to black. It's way easier than adding an object, which is what I did here. So first you kind of want to get all of your sprites in, get your counters in and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna grab the counter. Yeah, this right here is just the counter from the playable. I'll just go in here. So it's just this counter. One of these counters I grabbed, and that is just what I'm using for the counter there. I do recommend you pick a counter and not like an active object with sprites. So yeah, definitely pick a counter for there. There's not really much settings in the counter except for making the initial value 10. Maximum value, you can make it 10 if you want. It's just, I think it's 999 by default. And then minimum value, definitely make that 0 so that way it doesn't try to go into the negatives. So we want to align this in the center, and then doesn't have to be the main vertical center, but just somewhere around it. Just think about how the other objects are going to fit in here and how that's going to work. So we have a counter in here now. Oh yeah, something else. If you make a new frame, these objects here, definitely make sure you copy those. It literally says extension should be in every frame. Make sure you get those in there. Probably now, maybe get the text, maybe get the character, whichever. I'm gonna get the text up. I'm gonna get the text here. These are also sprites for rotting. They can be strings or active objects with custom text. In this case, this is an active object with custom text on it. This will work with a string just fine as well. So this, again, I want to horizontal center it, and then horizontal center it, and then kind of vertical, put it wherever you want. Make sure you leave room for some other things like the character or any other details going on. And then kind of want to get the character himself, but I'm going to copy the sprite sheet so that way I can go over how to make the animations, because even though I've gone over it a lot, I'm sure people are gonna find this video first and then need to know how to do the animations. Make a brand new active object. The reason I say make a new active object and not just make it from here, so that way you have the sprite sheet up here just in case something goes wrong with this or you lose the sprite sheet image and you need to get it back. It's up there so that way you can get it. So I'm gonna paste it in here, set the transparency color. I'm gonna copy it here, and then what I'm gonna do, this is what I've gone over a lot, but I'll go over again. Say for the ideal, I'll get a good amount of it. You don't have to get a crap ton, but just enough where all of these other frames will be able to fit inside of this box. So this box right here, make sure all of the frames can fit inside of it. I might move him more towards the middle there. Okay, so now we have these here. So what we can do from now on, this is just a repeated method, copy paste, and then pick the next frame. You don't have to pick a big center, just get the frame itself, and then delete that, paste this in here, make sure you line it up the best you can. So there we go. And then really just repeat that for all of these. So say I've got 4 sprites here for the ideal. So got that, paste that. Okay, up, don't do that. Move that up 1, there we go. And then that final one here where his hand's on the ground. Get that right there. Okay. We'll gotta make sure it's like that. There we go. So now we have these frames here. This, I would copy that and then make new animations depending. This all really just depends on what animations you have. I have like one of him getting mad and one of him getting happy, so I'm gonna make just a mad one, paste the new one in there, get rid of that active object, and then I'm able to get rid of it in here. And then also always make sure the center point is the hotspot point. I don't know why I call it center. Make sure that's in the center, and then just hold Alt and select the center again, so that way it does it for every single one. Now, in this case, I have an animation here to set up. I set this up a weird way. Well, that is like how it kind of is, except just not that fast. In my case, I think 15 was the best. It's gonna play slower in here than it will in the actual frame. So in here, make sure it's a bit slower than you actually want it to look. So that's done in my case. So for new animation here, I recommend just copying the first frame here, so that way you got the same exact size. And then let's get the, oh wait, I said mad, so let's get this one here. And again, we don't have to copy the whole thing, but this is why I said make sure the box is big enough so that way other sprites could fit in it, so that way you don't get problems with sprites getting cut off and then needing to like reshape every single sprite. So I'm gonna have to move this up. I'm gonna have to move it up again, I think. Yep. Okay, and then just that same process. Copy it, find the one down here, get that, get it in there, and then, yeah, basically do that for the rest of these frames here. This all really just depends on the character and stuff and just setting up animations. But I'm gonna do that and I will be right back. Okay, I finished setting up all the animations here. So for my case, we have the ideal right here, which is just him chilling out. And then we have the mad one here, which is him slamming his fist on the ground here. Doesn't loop, but you can see it there. And then the happy one where he'll be smiling and just happy that you quit. I think I'm gonna make this one a little bit slower just because when testing it, it was a bit fast. Okay, so now you have your character set up here. So I already named it Sonic, but just name it whatever character it is. Again, center in the middle. Vertical can be kind of wherever. So you look here, and now we have this. And the only reason this text flashes is because it already had this in it. So if you have an active object that yeah, if you have an active object with sprites in it, then you can just do something like this where you copy this and then make it blank and just have it flash between that. And that's how you can have this press enter flashing if you want to do that. You can also do that for the continue too. If you have a string though, then what you can just do is you can just do start of frame, and then say for example the continue, we can do visibility flash object, and then let's say every 15 milliseconds will flash the object, and you can see it's done to the continue as well. So that is really only if you have a string, but if you have an active object, you can just copy this and then like make it blank and have it flash between these. This was like an extra little thing I did, a little extra effect, just because I mean there's lots of different effects that could be added to your continue screen. So this is a little one I had here. This is the big ring flash from Sonic Mania. This is only a small section of the sprite sheet I got it from, and I'll link that whole sprite sheet below because I think Sonic Mania effects in EXE games are really good because I really loved the effects for Sonic Mania. But yeah, I just had a flash here that would happen whenever you pressed enter. It would flash the numbers away. But we don't have to set that up right now. We can just get straight to doing this. So right now, this is what we have. Flashes, he's sitting there. It's not counting down yet. There's nothing really going on. So first off, we want to do every 1 second. We want to get the timer to count down. So this is why I say do a counter, because you can just do subtract from counter 1. So that way now every 1 second it'll subtract 1 from the counter, which just makes it way easier to do. And then we want to make it where if you press enter, it'll stop the counter and activate a few things. So upon pressing the key, enter, we want to stop the counter. So, okay, best way I would say to do it is have this, maybe this isn't the best way, but have this in a group here, and then when we press enter, we will deactivate that group so that way it stops counting down. And then we're gonna change the animation here for Sonic to be the angry one because we pressed enter to continue. So I'm gonna change that to mad. There were some sound effects. So for the start here for the music, I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but this is kind of just whatever sample you're going to use. I'm going to use the default game over sample from this version of the Simple Sonic Worlds engine. I believe this game over sound is from an original Sonic game. I feel like the SWD stands for something, but I am unsure. Maybe it's Sonic Worlds Delta. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe if someone wants to let me know what this stands for or where this sound effect came from, that'd be really appreciated. But I'm going to use that sample because it really fits with the theme. And with pressing enter, you usually want to stop the music going on. So stop a specific sample, game over. And then if you want to play a little extra sample, then you can do that. In my case, I'm going to, I think, no, that's not it. It was this one. So I'm going to play this ring sound right here, which is going to be the ring flashing with a number as well to kind of make that go away. And then with timer here, if the timer counts down all the way to 0, then we want to also stop a few things. So if the timer gets equal to 0, then we want Sonic to go to his happy. And then let's make the enter text invisible to kind of show that you can't press enter anymore. But to make sure that you really can't press enter anymore, you want to just drag this onto here and then change it to be different than 0. So basically, when we press enter, if that counter is different than 0, then do all this. If the counter, what did I do? Like I said, if we press enter but it's equal to 0, then it will not do this because it means the timer has already ran out. If we press it and it's not equal to 0, then it means we still have time. It'll execute all this, and it'll deactivate this timer group and stop everything going on in here. Let's actually test this and let's see. So let's say I press enter right now, and boom. So timer stops, enter's gone just because we pressed it, and he's angry. So there's that. There's that, and then let's let it run all the way down to 0. Okay, so apparently I put the, oh my bad. Okay, I put the make enter invisible in the wrong spot. Okay. So when it goes down to this, I mean, you can make it go invisible there if you want to, but that was my bad. I put this in the wrong spot. It'd really be when the timer's 0, you can't press enter anymore. But I might just do that there too to kind of show you've already pressed enter. All right, now let's add that little flash effect I was talking about. So I might just end up cloning this so that way the sprite sheet's already in there. Copy this out, and luckily with this sprite sheet there's actually a box reference for us to go off of, so we can just drag this out from here, copy that, or actually crop it since I already copied these. So then we can just copy this, and I'm gonna have to go through all of these all of these and paste it in there. And because they're all the same size when I copy them, I don't have to worry about readjusting them. They'll all already be adjusted to their spot. So okay, I forgot to make a copy of it. Okay, so basically that same process I was talking about before. Okay, that one I copied a little over, so just no. So it's there. So basically go through, if you have a effect animation, again, I'm going through the same process here, and I'll be back when I've gotten this done. Okay, so I added in all the animations here, and if I click play, it flashes like that and then stops. And for my case, what I want to do is have this flash around the number and make the number disappear when we press enter, which is why I had the big ring sound effect play. So for me lining that up, it's going to be horizontal center, and then just the best I'm going to be able to get it to vertical center. I'm not going to get it perfect, but just like what looks the best. This might be alright. It's definitely not perfectly on there, but it's good enough. In my case with the flash or any effects you might have, you might want to make them invisible at start by just unchecking that. And in start a frame, I'm also gonna stop the animation so that way it doesn't play. And then basically when we press enter, I'm gonna make it reappear and then start the animation and then cause the ring number here to disappear. And basically this is what that would look like. So it's gone. He's angry that we continued. And from there, you kind of just, the best thing you can do is like fire an event after like 2 seconds, maybe go like next, and then do this next, and then have this go to like whatever menu or whatever frame, wherever you want the game to go back to after you do press enter and you do continue. And then you can just do that for the timer going to 0 as well, except it might be a different frame. And something I just have to mention, depending on how your gameplay is, if the way to die and lose lives in your game is just like how it would be in a default Sonic world, like they lose the life the second they die in the frame here, then you don't have to worry about taking away a life in here. But if you have some like scripted death that doesn't actually kill the character, but it just like plays an animation, say, that kills the character, then but it doesn't actually take away a life, because in simple Sonic worlds they don't actually die, they just look like they're dead, then in the continue screen here you will have to take away a life. And then probably if they choose to not continue, take away all of their lives. So say if they press enter here, let's say I want to take away 1 life. So for taking away lives, that I believe, no, it is not, never mind. I think it was player 1. Yeah, I think they connected the lives to player 1. So I think it's literally number of lives, subtract from number, you can subtract 1 from number of lives. I believe what Simple Sonic Worlds did is they connected the amount of lives to just this value here. So you can just like subtract 1 from number of lives and it will subtract 1 from the lives. And then in the timer here, if it hits 0, you can have it like set number of lives to 0 and then like done. So that is really it. Like I said, this would be a short tutorial and somehow I made it 22 minutes. I'm sure I'm gonna cut it down when editing, but somehow here by default it's 22 minutes. But that's really it. This was a really short, really easy one. Next tutorial is definitely going to be cutscenes because of just how that one poll went. So that one will definitely be a bit longer because I'll have to come up with some unique cutscene. I can't promise it'll be next week. I'm not too sure. If anything, this weekend is busy for me as well. But I knew I promised to get another one out, so I have here, and I again apologize if my speech was hard to listen to or hard to understand this whole time. Hopefully the YouTube captions will understand it and you can just watch it from there. And that is really it for this video. I don't think I really have anything else to say. And I will see you all in the next tutorial. Goodbye.